In this question, we're given a histogram which gives information about the distribution of the weight of some onions grown by a farmer. Now, onions less than 60 grams in weight are used for pickling, and onions greater than 120 grams in weight are sold at the market. Now, the rest of the onions are sent to a food processing factory. Now, a pie chart is drawn using the information in the page above to show what the farmer does with the onions that he grows. The angle of the sector for the onions sent to the food processing factory is x degrees, and we need to work out the value of x. To start with, let's find out the total number of onions that the farmer grows, and so we're finding out the total frequency. Now, using the histogram, the frequency is equal to the frequency density multiplied by the class width, and so this is equal to the area of each bar. And so to therefore find the total frequency, we want to find the total area of all of the bars. So let's start with the area of the first bar. To find the area, we want to do the base multiplied by the height. We have a height of 2, and we have a base of 60. Now to find the area of the second bar, we have a height of 5, and a base of 90 take away 60, which is equal to 30. For the third bar, we have a height of 9, and a base of 120 take away 90, which is equal to 30. Now the area of the fourth bar, we have a height of 6, multiplied by a base of 135 take away 120, which is equal to 15. And now to find the area of the final bar, we have a height of 2, and a base of 180 take away 135, which is equal to 45. Now putting these into our calculator, we can see that we have a total area of 720. And so we've therefore found that the total frequency is equal to 720. Now the next thing that we want to do is to find the number of onions less than 60 grams. Now looking at our histogram, this would be the area of the first bar, because the first bar has information about the onions less than 60 grams. And so the number of onions less than 60 grams is the area of the first bar, which is equal to 60 multiplied by 2, which is equal to 120. Now we want to find the number of onions more than 120 grams. Now again, looking at our histogram, to find information about the number of onions greater than 120 grams, we want to look at the last two bars, because we can see that these two boxes have information about the onions which are greater than 120 grams. Now the area of these two bars would be 6 multiplied by 15 plus 2 multiplied by 45. And when you put this into our calculator, you'll see that the number of onions greater than 120 grams is equal to 180. Now we found that 120 onions out of a total of 720 are less than 60 grams, and we found that 180 onions out of a total of 720 are greater than 120 grams. Now the question asks us to work out the angle of the sector for the onions sent to the food processing factory. We know that onions less than 60 grams are used for pickling, and onions greater than 120 grams are sold at the market. And so we want to find the number of onions that are sent to the food processing factory. If we have a total of 720 onions, and we know that 120 onions are less than 60 grams, and 180 onions are greater than 120 grams, the number of onions that are sent to the food processing factory would be the remainder. And so we can say that the number of onions sent to the factory would be equal to 720 take away brackets 120 plus 180 close brackets, which is equal to 420. Well, now we've found out that 420 onions are sent to the food processing factory, and we need to find out the angle that this would represent on the pie chart. Now to find the angle in the pie chart, we'd have to do 420 out of a total of 720, because this is the proportion of onions sent to the factory. Then we need to multiply this by 360 degrees. And this is because a pie chart is a circle, and angles in a circle add up to 360 degrees. And so x would be equal to 420 over 720, all multiplied by 360, which when we put into our calculator, we'll see is equal to 210 degrees. And so we've found that the value of x is equal to 210. Now this question is worth 4 marks. We get the first mark for finding the total number of onions that the farmer grows. We get the second mark for finding that the number of onions sent to the factory is equal to 420. We get the third mark for saying that x is equal to 420 divided by 720 multiplied by 360 degrees. And we get the fourth and final mark for a correct answer that x is equal to 210. allowing us to get the full 4 marks needed in this question.